come to that time. I've been doing a bit of promo on them as well, and I'm just happy to have them here with me. He's a renowned relationship coach, speaker, and author. He goes by the name of Stephan Speaks, and he's also here alongside aka Bobby Price, Dr. Holistic. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me in the studio today. How are you feeling?
Feeling good, man.
Yeah?
Vibing. What up, London?
The deep voice comes through. The American accent comes through. But happy to have you here. Happy to thank you for coming through and coming on the show. I want to start from the beginning before we get into the reason why you're here in the UK, obviously, on your tour. Now, where does your journey begin for each of you? How did you get started on this journey of obviously starting YouTube videos and obviously speaking to the masses and telling them, or just giving your advice, your coach, and, you know, letting people know that obviously these are gems that's probably worked in your life, and I feel like they would work for you. So where did your story start with you, Stephan?
For me, it was just connecting with God more, going through a spiritual journey. And through that, I felt God was telling me to write a book, and then it was do a blog, then it was get certified as a coach. And it just kept, I just kept asking God, okay, what next? And it just led to all this. I would have never chosen all this. You know what I'm saying? This was not where my mind was at. My degree is in IT, information systems. So speaking, writing books was so foreign, but it's what I felt spiritually led to do. And it's just grown massively since then.
Yeah. Okay, Bobby, where does your journey start?
It started in the hospital.
Okay.
You know, for me, my whole dream was, after my grandmother passed away, was help my people, help my family, help my community. And so after graduating and starting to work in the hospital, what I quickly realized was I really wasn't healing people. What I was doing was medicating them. And there's a huge difference between treatment and healing.
Yeah.
And so it was a point where I felt like a hypocrite because I had high blood pressure and I was in my 20s. And so I started the journey with myself, started healing myself, doing natural things, changed my diet, went plant-based, started using herbs, and then my patients started seeing that, and as a result, I started sharing that information with them. And the more and more I did that, the more and more I felt like a hypocrite. So I left the hospital, moved to Japan, studied a group of people who lived to 100 there, eat primarily a plant-based diet, die quietly in their sleep. And doing that for 4.5 years, it just showed me the power of healing with natural herbs, natural healing. And so traveled to Africa, traveled to Honduras, Peru, all over the world, just learning natural ways of healing. And here I am now to share that with other people.
Yes, here you are now. And before we get to the tool and the basis of the tool, Steph, looking at your channel, looking at the growth of it, how it's been over the years and what you're teaching people out there, what has been for you, or what was the one video that kind of compounded everything together, where your views went from X amount of views to now it's now into the millions and it starts to compound and go more? Do you remember that?
So the one video that comes to mind, crazy enough, was just a small 3 minute, not even 3 minutes, maybe 2 minute clip from one of my tour events.
Okay.
And it just went crazy, millions of views. I think in 1 month I gained 40,000 subscribers.
Okay.
That was what set it off. And that was so unexpected. I didn't think anything of it. I just put it up there and it just went nuts. And from there, it's just been constant growth. I really didn't even want to be on YouTube. I'm a very introverted person, so being in front of a camera and talking was not my thing. So for years, people were telling me, get on YouTube, do more videos. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And then finally, when that happened, I was like, all right, let me take this more seriously.
Tap into it.
Yeah, and it's grown since.
It's grown since. And would you say, obviously you said you went on your spiritual journey with God, and sometimes we fight against those things where even though God is taking us in one direction, we kind of want to do our own thing. At what point did you feel like, I'm just going to give in to God? I'm just going to let go of all my old habits or stop fighting it and just be diving straight in?
I think it was kind of little by little throughout the process. I don't know if it was a moment of just full surrender. It was just more so all right, I know what God's telling me, let me just do it. I don't know what this is going to lead to. I don't know what this is about. I'm just going to do it. And it just kept just doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I do think, I can't remember when the moment was, but there was a moment where I just officially realized, okay, this is my purpose. There's a reason why he has me doing all this stuff. And I just accepted this for what it is.
Doctor, we're going to go into you. Bobby Price, before we get into this song, one of my favourite songs. I'm going to introduce you to some new artists as well, by the way, because you were speaking about R&B, newer generation. So I want to introduce you to some new acts over here in the UK. I think we're lit. I think we've got a lot of them.
No doubt.
Yeah, I feel like we've got a lot of talent over here. And I'm, every time I meet someone new, I'm always trying to introduce new artists. So there's this next artist that I just feel like he's amazing. His samples is incredible, but just his voice and his cadence that he brings into it. I'm going to play him next. His name's called Jim Legacy. The song's called DJ. But before we get into that, for you, obviously you travel the world, you sampled different things, and you realized that this is where your journey's taken you. Now, were there any moments where you felt like, even at the point when you left the hospital, did you have any regrets at all? Did you have anything where, were there people wanting to keep you and be like, you know, we need you here? And how did you kind of handle that, knowing that, okay, this is my purpose, this is my direction, I need to kind of leave? But I'm sure that moment must have been quite difficult for you to just
Yeah. So I unfortunately, everybody thought I was mad. Because I had a promising career. I was going up the ladder, and people, I had all of these things that they wanted for me, but I didn't want for myself. And there was this one principle. It was, I believe that the whole purpose of what we're doing here is to heal. And it's not just from a physical standpoint, it's from a spiritual standpoint as well too. And so that's our whole purpose for coming here, to go through this spiritual curriculum. Yeah. And so for me, with that thought and that philosophy and that belief, it helped me understood that the highest version of you is the healed version of you. And the healed version of you is attached to all your abundance. And so for me, there was never any regret, because I was on this road towards healing and towards becoming the higher version of myself. So I really never had any regrets.
Whew.
Yeah.
This is what they're going to give you tomorrow at the event. But before we get into that, here's Jim Legacy, DJ on Represent Radio.
Represent!
Of course, Dr. Holistic, aka Bobby Price, is still here with me. We're going to get into the event, but before we get into the event, that's the reason why you're in the UK. How did this come about? How was this formed? How do you two even know each other? What's the relationship? How is this formed? Please let me know.
I'll let him tell the story.
So the first run-in was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was at a conference, and I was speaking at the conference about selling books and things like that. So then afterwards, I was meeting with the people, signing some books. So Bobby came up to me. He had his book. He gave me his book. We talked. That was it. And then I don't know how much time passed by after that. Let's say at least a year. We're on our own paths. We're doing our thing. And it's a long story, so I'm going to give the short version. I learned that for my body type and my blood type, it was best to go vegan. But I was fighting going vegan. So I was like, man, I don't know. I ain't ready for that. So I kept fighting. One day I was eating some chicken wings, and like halfway through my chicken wings, I was like, I can't do this no more. And I literally prayed, and I was like, God, you're going to have to send me somebody to help me, because I don't know what to do with this vegan thing. No lie, the very next day, I go to the gym to work out. Who pops up? Bobby.
Wow.
and he reminded me how it was just whatever long ago that he had the book or whatever. And I was just like, dang, like God really moved fast. And literally we've been tight ever since. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's just been a growing friendship, partnership. We do a lot of things together. We're doing this tour together. We on the farm together. You know what I'm saying? It's just
tropical fruit farm.
Yeah, pushing each other, supporting each other, trying to do big things.
Amen to that. Best of Me event tomorrow. London based, and you're covering the basis of embracing your divine energy, treat your body as a temple, give up negative self-talk, take a self-love plus check, and improve your dating and love life. Now, if I'm a newbie, novice, don't know you guys, never met you guys before, and I'm coming to the event because a friend recommended me, what am I in store for? What can I expect tomorrow?
Well, I think the biggest thing is everybody is trying to reach that level of greatness for themselves. And everybody is also wanting to find love, not only in other people, but with themselves too. But there's a roadmap on how you do that. And like he was telling the story of how we came together, like when we first started talking about this tour, we didn't know how the two would match up. I'm over here talking about how you heal physically. He's over here, how do you, put together a relationship and find love within yourself. And so the tour really was organic. I was gonna come out and do my whole separate thing. He was gonna come out and do his whole separate thing. But then what I realized was what people really need to do is focus on the relationship they have with themselves. And to be able to do that, you got to love yourself. You got to treat yourself well. You got to heal yourself. And so when people come out tomorrow, they're going to get that roadmap on love, because when it comes to love and relationships, he's bar none.
Yeah.
The guy. And people are going to get that roadmap on top in terms of like, how do you go about getting true healing?
Yeah.
Not only physically, but emotionally, spiritually, in every sense of the word, so that you can connect with yourself. And then moving forward, it's so easier to connect with other people in terms of relationships.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. People can still buy tickets, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So they can still buy tickets, promote and all that. I should be there tomorrow. What time is the event?
It's at 5 o'clock
5 o'clock till
7.
Okay.
Well, we say 7, but we'll probably be there a little later than that. More like 8 o'clock.
Okay, fair enough. And where's it located?
Location. You know what? I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna pull it up right
go,
now.
Go to bestofmetour.com.
And all the details will be on there.
Get all the details, everything you need. You need to be in the building. You know, we're in a space and time where there's negativity, there's fear mongering. There's a whole lot of questions about what is wrong with the world, but we're trying to get into what is right with us.
Of course.
You know, and so go to the website, get your tickets, lock in, do something good for yourself, invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself, and I'm very big about that. I mean, if you've ever listened to me on my show, you know that I'm very big about health, going to the gym, and obviously eating right. So I'm definitely going to be stalking Dr. Holistic, aka Bobby Price's YouTube, because I need some tips on how to obviously eat right and just change up a few things in my personal diet. Stephan, I've got some questions for you.
All right.
Because when I told my friends, and they were ladies,
Okay.
ask him this, why do you think he knows so much? Who is he to tell us all of these questions? So I'm going to phrase this one. There's a scenario that a friend of mine is going through right now. She's with her boyfriend, but every time something good or anything juicy happens, conversation gossip-wise, he always goes to his female friend. Is that an issue in a relationship? The fact that he doesn't kind of point to her as the first point of contact and goes to his female friend as the first point of contact, is that an issue?
If I'm being honest,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Why is that an issue?
So issue in this. Let me phrase this correctly. It's a concern.
Okay.
All right. It just is a concern because if I was coaching them, I would want to understand, why isn't your partner the first one you're going to? Now, if it's established and they're okay with it, like let's just say, you know, his partner he loves her, but when it comes to talk about certain things, let's say she doesn't like hearing about this stuff. She doesn't like talking about these different things. But his female friend, loves the gossip. And if that's something they all understand, they're on the same page with, then it's not really an issue anymore. You see what I'm saying? But if it is a representative or a symptom of a disconnect between him and his partner, then we got to go deeper, because typically what I find is that it doesn't just stay at that issue. So if he's not going to her for those juicy moments, where else are they disconnected? You see what I'm saying? Because you'll usually find it somewhere else in the relationship. And we have to figure out what the root is and see if we can fix the root of that possible issue.
Yeah. Last question before I let you guys leave this place. This one went viral. Okay. And I wasn't sure I was going to ask this, but I was like, you know what? It went viral on Twitter, on TikTok, everywhere. Everyone has kind of put in their 2 pence and given their verdicts, especially on Twitter. Now, obviously, Keke Palmer, the situation with Keke Palmer, her being in a relationship, her husband, etc., etc. What's your thoughts on that?
All right, so wait a minute. Are they married?
I mean, they've got a baby together.
They got a baby together. See,
and I feel like they're in a relationship.
They're in a relationship. So here's my thing. Listen, I'm big on everyone has to set their personal boundaries. All right. So I don't know what conversations they've had beforehand. Yeah. If they've discussed this, he's let her know this doesn't work for him, and she did it anyway. That's a problem. Okay. You see what I'm saying? If they didn't have that discussion, I'm always like, listen, the first time something's done that you don't like, you talk about it. If it's not corrected, then you just gotta accept this isn't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it really just depends on what their previous conversations were. Yeah. But like for me, what I saw, that was a bit much. You know what I'm saying? But you know, some guys like it. Some guys don't mind it. That's why I'm being clear and saying, it really depends on that couple and what they discuss and agreed upon. But I do believe that both sides, men and women, have to establish boundaries in their relationship. Boundaries as far as how we interact with the outside world, how we interact with each other, all that stuff. And if people aren't going to respect those boundaries, yo, you got to let them go.
Stephan Speaks, Bobby Price, aka Dr. Holistic. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Bobby, you look like he was Bobby was hiding his face because he was saying, what is this friend gonna say here today? But you know, we have to get into that because I feel like it's a conversation that people still have in this day and age. And I feel like, again, like you said, I feel like if the conversations wasn't had beforehand, then it's something that needs to be brought up.
And I mean, and I also want to add, like, I think some of the people who take issue with the man having an issue, it's like if the man was going out with his stuff bulging through his pants, there would be a lot of people saying, what's wrong with you? What you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not act like there's certain lines that you cross that it might be doing too much according to your partner. And again, that's the most important thing, is what does your partner think about it? You know what I'm saying? And y'all have to be on the same page, because now you're asking for trouble if you're not.
Well, you're going to get this advice tomorrow in full effect. So make sure you grab your tickets on the tour. Thank you guys for coming down to the UK. We definitely need to get you to eat a vegan. Definitely try out the foods, vegan spots there. We've got actually quite a lot of vegan spots over here in London.
Indeed.
Yeah, we do. So enjoy your time out here, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys for being my guest today.
Thank you.
Let's get into some Ashake. You was listening to some Afro beats, right?
Yes,
do
indeed.
you know about Ashake?
Yes, I do.
Okay, there you go. I'm a piano. Up next.